Hi, I'm Backyard Barb, and today I'm going to be talking to you about seed-saving flowers. I like to be able to propagate things and pay for it only once. Like these Supreme Poppy seeds that I bought, I got a very small amount in it, and I only was able to germinate one poppy. So it's important for me to save seeds, and I save the package, and I'll just put them right back in the package. So I've been going around the yard today collecting different seeds that I'm going to save. The hollyhocks are one of the first things that I'm starting with today. The seed pods are right here. It's on the blossom. All blossoms produce flowers, but the seed pod, when it's ripe, will produce these circle disc seeds. And each one of these will produce one plant. So that's quite a few plants out of just one seed, and there's probably about 50 on each stalk, I would say. When you look at the pods together, you can see that this one's brown and this one's still green. So this one's not ready yet. So you can just open up the seed pod and spill out the seeds. And these aren't quite right there yet. Typically, plants will open. Like you could see this one here, how the seed pod is opening to spill the seeds out. And you can even see a color difference between the black seed that's already open and the violet seed that's still kind of light gray. It's not as black and dark. Lavender is one of the next things I'm going to talk about. It's one of my favorite things to propagate and sprinkle seeds. The blooms, when they're done blooming, they'll dry out and they'll get gray. And then you just kind of rub them open and you get these little tiny black dots of seeds. And those are easy to save. The poppies are one of my favorite things to do. This is a green poppy still, and I've got some examples here of some ripe ones. This one, you can see at the top how the top of the seed pod opens when it's ready. This one is open, and look at all those seeds. It's still going. So from one seed pod, I got hundreds, probably 1,000 seeds from one flower. And you can see that this one's still green. This isn't ripe yet, so the seeds aren't going to be ready and they're not going to be ripe. You want to store your seeds in a cool, dark place. That way they'll keep for a long period of time. The snapdragons, I waited a little bit too long on these to dump them, but you can see these that still have the flower pods on them. Those will still have seeds in it. Once that flower pod goes off, you just take this over and dump it. You could even pop them off and just kind of give them a little shake. So these have gone a little bit too far. As you can see, I've got snapdragon seeds all over the table. But so they're just the spent flower stems, and you just clip them off when they're dry and just turn them over and dump them out. These are my little Juliet's favorite flower. So I like to do all kinds of different snapdragons, although she insists on calling them dragon snaps, and that's okay. I let her do that. The allium is in the onion family. Its flower at the end of it has these little black seeds, and as you can see, it's opened up, and a lot of the seed pods have already fallen out, but they're easy to collect, and they're actually quite large. If you plant these out in the ground, it will take about a year or two before it will develop a bulb, and it'll continue to come back year after year. The reason you want to store your seeds in like a plastic bag is because it's not breathable. If there's moisture in the seed, it'll keep it inside and your seeds will rot. The calendula seed pod is similar to the hollyhocks in that it forms a circle. So the interior of this calendula, the seed, it's kind of unusual. It kind of reminds me of like a little snail. It forms like a semicircle or U shape. It actually has about 20 to 30 little seed pods per blossom. Now this is also very prolific. I planted 3 in my garden last year, and I have calendula everywhere. The iris seed pods, as you can see, they have started to crack open, and then there are all the little seeds. If you did that and spread seed all over the ground. It does take a couple of years for it to form a rhizome, but you can absolutely propagate irises from seed. These are larkspur. These are green seed pods, and these are brown seed pods. You can see by looking at the top of it, they have started to open up, and they will spill the seeds out. The seeds are actually quite large for such a small little flower. This is in the Delphinium family. The Nigella Love in the Mist is a really interesting little plant. The seed pods, I really like them. I like to leave them in the garden because they add some interest. The color of the stem is kind of a grayish blue, green, and it just adds some interest to the garden. When these are not fully ripe, but when they are fully ripe, the seed pods will come out of them, and then this is what the seeds look like from the Nigella Love in the Mist. This is Columbine, and as you can see, some of the spent flower seed pods are still green on this one, where these are the brown ones. And as you can see, they open, and that's when they open is when they are ready to drop their seeds. Brownish black seed, and this looks to be like about 35-40 seeds out of that one little stalk. The verbascum flower spike will develop these little balls on them. Each of these little green seed pods will turn brown, and crack them open, and they'll have hundreds of little black seeds inside of it. So you'll get thousands of seeds out of one flower spike. And the salvia is really similar to this. Same thing, spike, and then the seed pods open up to reveal the seed. I know the sunflower is something that everybody typically should know where to get the seeds from. So that the dry flower will break apart, and the seeds, there we go. You could just break open, and there's hundreds of little sunflower seeds in there. Zinnias, once they dry out, if you crack the seed open, these little portions here that are just at the end of the flower spike, these are the little seed pods. Zinnias are kind of finicky, as in they like to be started outdoors. They don't do as well. They might start inside the house, and then when you go to bring them planted out, they'll stall. They don't really like to be messed with. You're better off just sowing them and planting them out in the yard than starting them indoors. And they are quick growers, so it's not like they need lots of time. But you can see the seed is attached to each little petal. So there, at the end of the zinnia blossom. And echinacea is very similar to the sunflower. This is the pod of an echinacea that I've been saving. The echinacea is also, people refer to it as purple coneflower, and it's just the same thing. You just take the center of the seed pod and collect the seeds. Some flowers need cold stratification, and it's important to know which ones do and which ones don't. And there's also varieties that require light to germinate. Cold stratification protects the plant from breaking dormancy too soon. It helps to keep the plant sprouting at the right time of year, when it's time to actually grow, where it's not going to have a cold snap and kill the plant. It's a way of self-preservation. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you've learned how to seed save. I enjoy doing seed saving. It's something that it's fun. My friend Danny and I will go to neighbor's yard and ask them if we can deadhead some of their flower blossoms to gather new varieties and new colors of poppies. Great way to save seeds and to share them with your neighbors and your friends. I will post a list of plants that need cold stratification and plants that need light for germination in the link below. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave me a message. If there's something that you want to learn about, you can ask me and I will post a video on. If you liked this video and you thought it was helpful, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I will be posting weekly. Thank you for joining me today.